There are bikes which perfectly fit into your life, and then there are those bikes which make you want to fit your life into. So, where does the Super Meteor 650 fit into? Firstly, let's look at cruisers as a segment in India. With Indian roads, hardcore cruisers have never been a versatile choice for most buyers. But the question to ask here is, are cruisers supposed to be practical? The simple answer is no. Let's understand this with the law of equivalent exchange. If you want a badass looking cruiser that's low slung, has a large wheelbase, and comes with a certain heft with the aspirational looks of an American chopper, then there are going to be certain compromises with suspension, ground clearance, and ride quality. This explains why the Super Meteor is a bike you should fit your life into and not otherwise, because it's an unapologetic cruiser that makes you feel like the king of the road. To help you understand this perspective better, let me start with things I like. Firstly, it's a flagship from the RE stable and definitely looks like one. Laid back stance, forward foot pegs, and delectable paint schemes are all on point if you want to look like a badass from your favorite Hollywood movie. The fit and finish is the best I've seen from Royal Enfield so far, with nice bits like brushed aluminium and even the minimalistic chrome garnish, which I personally love. What powers this is a reliable 650cc parallel twin with great torque throughout the rev band and a very good top end. Fueling is excellent and doesn't require frequent gear shifts, even in the city. The exhaust grunt is refined and yet has the thump you would associate with the REs. Now and then, you could make out a pop from the twin exhaust, which leaves you smiling all day when you're riding. However, if you're one of those old school lovers of the RE thump, you might feel the engine has lost a bit of character by trading the thump for refinement. Personally, I still miss the thump of my old Continental GT535. Don't be surprised or amused when I say the front suspension does a great job for a cruiser on Indian roads. It's the first time RE has used an upside-down fork, and even though the travel is restricted, it gets the job done on all surfaces. This helps enhance my favorite aspect, being the excellent handling. Once you get onto the saddle, riding is effortless and you will absolutely love carving corners if you get the hang of controlling the bike with your hips more than your hands. It's surprising that RE has absolutely nailed the handling dynamics of a segment which is not supposed to be a great handler. The gear shifts feel slick, and if you're one of those pessimistic people like me who loves to keep their shoes spick and span all the time, the addition of a heel shifter keeps them tidy all day. The brakes have good bite and stopping power, but there's a con to it about which I'll talk later. So let me now take you through the compromises you'll have to live with and things I don't like. Wind blast is the biggest con, and it makes you feel unsettled at speeds even just above 100. You will definitely have to invest on a windscreen for long journeys on the highway. Coming to brakes, the braking feel is lacking, though the bite is strong. The problem with that is, when you're riding on bad surfaces, you will have to be very cautious and have to release the brake judiciously, looking out for the very moment your bike starts to skid. So take it slow on bad roads because there is literally no brake feel. Electronics are a hit and miss on Royal Enfields as always, like how the engine warning lights randomly go on and off. They could have gone for a better equipped speedometer or at least an aesthetically better looking one than this. The handlebar controls are also not the most intuitive, and I still can't get used to it even after riding it for close to 2000 kilometers. Honestly, these are the only three things I dislike because I knew what I was getting myself into. But you should also be aware of the following bits. Stiff rear suspension leaves no choice but to crawl even on the smallest of bumps. As I said, it's a compromise you should accept, unless you want the paltry 130 ground clearance to bottom out on every speed bump. The bike never scraped its belly, even on the biggest of speed bumps, but surely does send a nasty jolt to your lower back in the smallest of potholes. Maneuvering in start-stop traffic feels like legs day at the gym, as you're constantly alternating between keeping your legs up, forward, and down. You will have to get used to taking U-turns with a bigger radius as well. Fuel efficiency is close to 22 km per liter within the city and sometimes drops even further. Also, if you're lightly built like me, you will have to hustle with deploying the center stand, as it's a 250 kg beast, almost 4 times as heavy as me. The verdict. With on-road prices above the 4.2 lakh mark, this is not a bike you can do all with. Like I said, it has almost the same number of cons as the pros, and hence for most people, it doesn't make any sense. But for those few who can live with these cons, be rest assured, you will feel like the king of the road where nothing else has to make any sense.